at all.
I really appreciate this. So,
What are we talking about?
so usually we start off with talking about news and politics. Don't have a lot about politics today because I don't know. I'm just tired of hearing the same old thing.
And
Donald Trump's
only
winning.
Complain about Donald Trump so much.
There's only so much I can say, and there's only so much praise I can give Bernie Sanders and criticism I can give Hillary Clinton.
It's only extremes here.
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on around the world, though. On Easter Sunday, a suicide bomb went off in a local Lahore park in Pakistan. Christian and Muslim neighbors were playing together when the explosion happened, injuring mostly women and children who were at the park. A splinter Taliban group claimed the attack and claimed they were targeting Christians, yet the blast killed multiple Muslims as well. In total, 69 people were killed in the blast and 341 were reported injured. Now, this happened on Easter Sunday, and it's not the first time that a Taliban group or a radical Islam group has targeted groups of Christians on Easter Sunday.
Right.
Unfortunately, it seems to be a very popular day to kind of hit people while they're trying to celebrate, unfortunately.
Definitely.
And there's a lot going on over there right now, as we all know.
Yep. Easter Sunday, how long ago was that? Like a week, right?
Like 4 days ago.
4 days ago, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Time right now for me is just not happening. But
we're on college time right now.
No. But, I mean, sadly enough, it does make sense.
Yeah.
It would be that way. But it's just so I hadn't heard about that, actually. I mean, I heard about the Brussels thing, obviously, but not this one. It's just it just keeps happening and happening, and
it gets frustrating and scary.
It's so frustrating and scary, yeah, definitely, because it was at where was it?
It was at a local park.
Yeah, so it's like any place, any public place.
Lahore is the second largest city in Pakistan after Islamabad. So that's why there were so many people there.
Right. And I don't know, this might be like my humanities romanticizing whatever. It was probably like a really nice day and all this stuff. So
that's what the article said, that it was like a really nice day.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Unfortunately, going off of radical Islam groups, we're going to move on to a next story, which is taking us to Syria, where the Syrian government took back a UNESCO city from ISIS. Now, for people who don't know, UNESCO is a international group which specializes in taking care of ancient sites. So such sites are like the Roman Aqueduct in Britain, the Colosseum is a UNESCO site. Those are some of the more popular ones. And last week, according to a Syrian news agency and CNN, government troops and military supporting the government against ISIS took back the ancient city of Palmyra from radical militants. The site once housed numerous millennia-old structures, many of which were damaged or destroyed by ISIS. There were temples. There was a palace that... Some of the temple was completely destroyed, and the castle, which is called the Palmyra Castle, was pretty much ruined, which is really awful because it's about a 1,000-year-old structure, and the temple was 1,800 years old. So
it was destroyed when they were taking it back?
No, ISIS destroyed it.
And then, okay.
Yeah, ISIS took the city in May of last year and began destroying the ruins of the city about a month later, posting videos and basically just showing their contempt for the blending of cultures that occurred in the city, the blending of Roman, Greek, and Persian. And it's a really famous historical site. And UNESCO is planning on going in as soon as situations allow for them to kind of take stock of the damage. And they've condemned the destruction as a war crime. And one of the things that they took down was a 500-year-old Muslim burial tomb for a cousin of the Prophet. So,
wow.
Yeah.
How is it, like, really? Because for me, it doesn't seem like it'd be that easy for UNESCO to just like pop up and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna take it back." So, like, what do you think timing of that would be like?
I don't know. But the Syrian government does have control of the city, which is good. So yeah, they're just kind of going through right now, making sure that the area is safe currently.
Right.
And
that's
then
good though. That's a nice step.
Mm-hmm. And then UNESCO is going to go in, and like there's not a whole lot they can do to fix it, but they are just going to go in and like survey the damages at this point, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, like, you would try to fix it, and chances are stuff might get even more ruined.
Yeah.
You know, so it's such a fine line to cross.
Especially with such old buildings.
Yeah, definitely.
And going off of that, there was a video that was posted on one of the ISIS social media pages that said that ISIS released, and they said that they still held the city. They showed like the ruined city with their tanks in it. CNN had not confirmed the authenticity of the video, however, or like the dating of it. So
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, like, what can you base off of
yeah,
that?
like, there's not a whole lot. And unfortunately, this is not the first time that a radical religious group has gone about destroying religious or historical monuments from other cultures. In 2001, Al-Qaeda blew up 2 giant Buddha statues in Pakistan, which had stood in the Bamiyan Valley for like centuries. They were Buddhist, and ISIS has destroyed multiple Sufi shrines and Muslim tombs for as long as they've been in Syria. So unfortunately, Palmyra is just another city involved in the cultural cleansing that's going on in the Middle East, kind of taken out by the radical groups.
Right. That kind of has a connection to me with the story that you were saying before with the Easter Sunday. It's like you hit them where it hurts, especially, you know? And that's upsetting, because it's a lack of respect, just which is an understatement, like, of the century, but it's a lack of respect for just even the simplest form of humanity, of just leaving what someone's things are be, you know what I mean? Where it's like, yes, you're right to be there. No.
No, and the thing is, these things have stood for over 2,000 years. Like, you got to take it down now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's a
There's
link
no
into the
respect
past.
for history, which is not really something that you think about when you think of, you know, ISIS and other like extremist groups, that because it seems more of stuff in the now, or their beliefs, maybe like their continuing beliefs from history, but not other people's, and not affecting those things. So that's just, gosh, it's hard, because it seems like everything in the news now is about those sort of things, and it's just very depressing. And we're lucky that we're not, I mean, obviously we're very close to a lot of the different places of these extremist activities, but it's like we're lucky that it's not happened
directly here.
Yeah.
There's been indirect things,
exactly,
like San Bernardino, that was not directly related to ISIS, they don't think.
Right.
Actually,
like, we obviously have had our own fair share of trials, but that most of it's happened with the people that, or with the countries that we've just had close relationships with, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Actually, going off of that, last week, the U.S. government decided that they did not. They've been suing Apple to create a program to break into the iPhone, which is not good, because that creates a path for hackers to get into people's phones. And Apple's like,
security.
We're not going to put in danger all these people's information for the sake of this one phone.
Right.
And apparently, in the middle of a lawsuit, the federal government has decided that they don't need Apple anymore. They've discovered another way, which is really scary. Like,
you're like, wait, but like, we could see what you were doing before. Now we don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They say that they've got like some third party that's able to break into their iPhones, and
third party, so sketchy. Yeah.
Yeah. And Apple's like, you know what? We're just gonna ramp up what we're doing so that you can't break in. And I'm like, you go, Apple. Yeah. Like, I don't have an Apple phone, but like,
yeah, I don't either.
Good for Androids.
Honestly, because they're not even involved in this. But yeah, wow. Okay, yeah. Talk about like breach of like security.
Yeah, like breach of privacy.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that they want to get into the phone to get the information,
right?
But at what cost?
Yeah, the intentions seem all right. Like, I wouldn't even say good, but like all right. But good for Apple though, because like that customer confidentiality, like, that is good to uphold. And
it can also look bad for them, because they can look like there's
publicity if they gave it to them, like they.
But also the publicity, since they haven't, people have been like, oh, they're not like American, they don't want to help the government discover who the terrorists are. Wow. And I'm like, they're trying to protect other people. Like, this is one iPhone, but imagine what the implications could have.
Right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, it's definitely a double-edged sword going in and saying that, but. Jeez, I didn't even think about the negatives of it. Me just in my blissful ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually what I thought the first time that I saw that. I was like, why wouldn't they open up the phone for the government. Like, not
Right.
necessarily in a judgmental way,
It's
but like
kind of
they've
like
obviously got reasons. And then I read more into it, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. I totally get that. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's such a it's such a fine line, because it's like you don't know. You could go and you could help the government, and then there might be some great positives reaped from that, but then, just as easily.
Yeah, what could happen to the other 300 million people in the country?
It's not just one person.
Yeah, it's not just one.
Apple's a kind of
yeah.
large company.
Yeah, it's not about the one iPhone. It's about the million other iPhones out there.
Right.
So, actually, but now to something that happened very, very recently. This morning, actually.
Oh, jeez.
In Kolkata, India, an overpass collapsed. It was afternoon their time, and it collapsed, killing at least 17 people, and dozens of others are still trapped underneath it. According to CNN, Major General, I'm going to pronounce this name wrong, so I apologize to them. No, they're not listening, but I still feel bad. Anurag Gupta said that there was no way of knowing exactly how many people were trapped underneath, because it was a bridge and not a building, and you don't really know how many people are on the bridge at one time.
Right.
And they are unable to tell how many were driving on or below the overpass at the time of the collapse. Locals officials say that there were over 100 injured, and the Ministry of Defense has tweeted that they have sent in rescue personnel, and which includes 4 columns of military groups, and 3 medical teams, 2 ambulances, and many doctors and nurses. There are still over 100 persons unaccounted for, although it is not believed that all of them are trapped in the rubble. The overpass was near the Kolkata city central in a busy commercial area, and the overpass has been under construction, and it's the CNN article said it's been under construction for about 5 years.
And that was the reason for the collapse, or was it?
The article didn't say.
Conspiracy?
It didn't say, but like there's probably
it was
like
under construction. I mean, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it probably wasn't like the strongest.
Right.
And
that happened this morning for what's the like time difference for?
A lot. It
So,
said
like,
that it
how
happened
long
in the
have those-
afternoon their time, which means really early morning our time. I think the
so it's been,
story was
like-
posted about 2 or 3 a.m.
So like about 12 hours.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So this is still like a developing
Yeah.
story. I went online this morning and I was like,
Way to catch
hey,
it. Yeah.
not to like insult their issues or anything.
Right.
But
right.
the interesting thing that I found was that Kolkata is actually the place that a bunch of Ionic students went on a mission trip over
Right. I was gonna say
break. Yeah.
It sounded familiar. I was like, the
I
name.
wrote an article about it for the Ionian.
Oh, did you? Check it out. Plug for the Ionian right there.
Pick up your article, your copy of the Ionian
Yeah.
on next Thursday when it comes out.
Yep. Hit up online. You know.
Yep.
Mass comm clubs are great.
Yes.
But I didn't realize that's where they went though for their mission trip.
Mhm.
So
Stabelle was
okay.
there, so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just kind of
there's
like
a couple
like
professors,
you know people that were there, and you're just like, wow, like thank God that they weren't there at that time, but also like you feel bad because there were all these people that got hurt and that were killed
right
from the concrete falling on them in their cars.
Wow, yeah, and it's sad though how much it does separate you from the actual event, because
Yeah.
When you think about the people that were there, and like if you knew anyone, it becomes that more real for you. But because of that lack of like proximity, between us and India, obviously, it's like you wish you could almost feel it as much, but it's just so much harder. And honestly, I mean, you obviously feel bad, and you are hoping that as many lives can be saved.
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
know, but
all right, so we're gonna take a break real quick, and we're gonna listen to some music. But we will be back.
yep. Thank you.